Hey, good morning. Tried to call you, but you're not answering. So I'm just waiting. I'm going to be leaving here soon to go and visit your mother in the hospital. So I've been waiting. I've called 2 times now. I'm worried. So I guess hopefully I'll meet you there at the hospital. Thanks. Bye.
All right, that was the Voices of Harold, done by a woman interpreter. Interesting phone call while my mom was in the hospital recovering from a stroke. And now, how about little Hal, Aaron, Colin? Hal in Philly, we are going for a drive. Come along.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the broody kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
All right, thank you, Alex Exum, ALEXEXUM, AlexExum.com. Doing my announcing for the last almost 4 years. Hey, you guys want to go for a drive and dumb it down? That's good, because otherwise, I don't know why you would be here. We're going for a drive. We're headed to work during my commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway. I'm a truck driver. I work nights. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. There's a couple of things in my life that are a little bit in question right now. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be driving a truck. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be podcasting for. 2 very important parts of my life that are uncertain. And I'm not going to really elaborate on the details, just to say I don't know. I just don't know how long it's going to go for. That's my pragmatism. Dave, is this something we should know? Well, I might not be driving a truck in the next 30. I don't know. I've said this before. I've had situations where I go, well, I don't think I'm going to be doing this anymore. I think I'm going to find something else. I mean, the COVID thing exacerbates everything. Right? I always use that word, exacerbates. It makes things difficult. Everything's, nobody's really sure what's going on. So I have a good thing where I'm at. I'm going to try to stay as long as possible. I thoroughly don't enjoy it anymore. And they don't care if I work there or not. It's just, I'm just a number. Just a number. just a guy that shows up. And I show up a lot more or a lot better than other guys. And you don't get any credit for that. You just do what you do. So I've been learning how to do the minimum. It's not easy for me. I mean, there's nothing I don't do. It's just that I don't feel as prideful as I used to 7 years ago. Like, yeah, this is great. Yeah. And yeah, I do get paid. Yes, and I do get paid well. And that should be enough, right? Pragmatism, that should be enough, Dave. Don't worry about everybody else. And I know, I've done that for a long time. It's just that it gets exhausting. And with some of the rules and regulations they have, it's kind of like, why? Why am I here? But I know why I'm here, because I didn't do my homework. I didn't study. I didn't go to college. So I'm here. I'm stuck. I'm a prisoner, which is a bad mental mindset for me to have. Like, I'm a prisoner of my company. I'm still a slave to the dollar, which I really don't want to be anymore. I don't want to be a slave to the dollar. I could probably make some changes in my life financially, really eliminate all my debts. I mean, super 100%, just be really, really free. All I would have to do is pay certain utilities. I could probably really drastically reduce my cable bill or get rid of it. I could do that. My wife couldn't do that. Just so I don't have to worry about the cable bill anymore. I don't have to worry about this crazy cell phone anymore. I could really live a minimalist lifestyle if it was only up to me. And I'm not blaming my wife or anything like that. I'm just saying that if it was up to me, I could live very minimally. At least I think I can, right? Until you do it, you don't really know. All of it's just talk. It's a lot of hot air. But I really would like to reduce a lot of things in my life and move on. And the podcast is one of them. the podcast. I know I mentioned it a couple episodes ago, and some of you were very nice to write certain things like, whatever. Hey, don't leave. Hey, whatever. Listen, life is complicated. It's very complicated. I try to make it simple, but it's not. It's complicated. And one of the complications is motivation, inspiration, energy. I always talk about energy. And I feel my energy source is disappearing. I thought getting rid of some of my depleters would help, and it has helped. I can't tell you how much it's helped. Do I miss them? No, I'm not a miss you type of guy. I don't miss them. I should make a list of things that I like, but I wouldn't miss. Would I miss chocolate ice cream? No. Would I miss peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? No. There's a lot, come up with a list of the things you like. What do you like? How about if they got rid of NASCAR? Would you miss it? No. What if, no. It's a long, long list before I get to a yes. And I got to tell you, I've never done it before. Maybe that's an interesting homework assignment. For all of us, for me, for you, how long do you go down the list before you go, oh yeah, I'd miss that? And probably most of you are the type that miss. Are you miss you type of people? If you'd like to, you could leave a message in the Spreaker box there, in the Spreaker chat box, if you're listening on Spreaker. So many of you are not listening on Spreaker. So you're listening on Spotify or Apple. So how do you respond? Well, I'll tell you what. I got something here. I got some information here for you. First of all, you could tweet me at Dumb with Dave. That's very important. You could tweet me at Dumb with Dave. And you can email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. All right, I'll be honest with you. In the 4 years I've been doing with this, I've only gotten one email. And that was kind of like a forced situation by a friend of mine, Mark, who no longer listens to the show. He just decided, he doesn't want to listen to the show anymore. And I'm like, all right, he's paid his dues. He was there for the longest duration. He was the first email. And obviously he didn't enjoy it that much. Or he didn't enjoy it at all. Oh, I don't know what his story is. I know that he started to do some religious studies. So that's the type of friends I have. Now, that's not a right thing to say, right? That's the type of friends I have. But it is interesting. The friends that I have, or the friends that I thought I had, always seem to have they always seem to have a reason why they can't listen to my podcast. And I know I'm not the only podcast that's going through that, but it is kind of fascinating that they all somehow say, I should make a recording like the voices of Harold. I should make a recording of all. I mean, it's too late now. All those conversations are over, and some of those people I'm not even friends with. But it's so interesting. They go, I didn't know. Okay, listen, you're not listening to the podcast. That's the bottom line. You're a friend, but you just can't. You just can't get yourself to listen for a half an hour. It's too much for you. So I'm not that entertaining. And I know Mark would say, but Dave, I do talk to you on the phone like all night long. Yeah, I know that, but this is my podcast. I know how to support my friends. I've been down this road before. We haven't been down the friends road in a long time, so I'm not going down that road. But the point being is, you can. It's very easy to. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find something here. It's very easy to communicate with the show. So I got one email. And all the 4 years. I don't expect you to email at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. You can't tweet me at dumbwithdave. Also, by the way, there's the Facebook group. Easiest thing at all. I should probably stop mentioning the Yahoo and stop mentioning the Twitter, because most of you, except for one person, don't really tweet the show. Linda from Awesome Insanity Surface is really the only one who tweets or retweets. No, that's not true. Joe Foley does. He retweets. I think Hal in Philly, he might comment or retweet. And I know almost nobody's really consistent. Linda, without a doubt, is the only one who's consistent. But you know what? She's retired and she has some time. She's got things going on in her life. And she's got that Awesome Insanity Surface podcast, which is totally changed now. Now it's, Crash Dystopia. She's got 2 episodes in there. Very interesting stuff. If you're into... I'm not into sci-fi. I'm not into what she's doing. To be very frank, and I've said that before. But what she's doing is interesting and different. And she's a friend, so I support her. I download, I listen, and I try to support it every which way I can. By the way, I mention it. And out of all the circle of friends that I know Linda and I are part of, mutual friends, I'm basically the only one that mentions the show. Dave, do you really need credit? You want credit for that? I go, no, it's just that it's interesting how people don't support. Especially in this day and age, with the corona and all the things that are going on, post the George Floyd murder, and that my friendships are based in or out of racism and stuff like that. It's just interesting how the energy to support isn't there for so many people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sure you've experienced it, especially if you're an artist. You've experienced it. We go, wow, how come these people in my life, these 5 people, these 10 people, how come they're not there? How come total strangers are in my life? Why is that? Why are total strangers in my life? That is my audience, by the way. I know that for a fact. My audience is total strangers. My friends and family are not my audience. Do not confuse the two. Anybody who's a brand new podcaster in the world, I always say that. Your friends and family are not your audience. And your audience should not be confused as friends and family. If they're listening, they're listening. Thank you very much for listening, and move on. You really don't want to go out breaking bread with your audience because they'll turn on you. I've experienced that already several times. That's why I know to keep listeners at a distance. You're as close to me as you could possibly get. That, by the way, is the performer and audience relationship anywhere you go. Doesn't matter if you're into ballet or you're a musician. That's why musicians charge you for meet and greets. Meet and greets are never for free. They charge you. And that's why I would never pay for meet and greet. And every time I have a friend, I had a friend years ago, I'm going to go see Dale Earnhardt Jr. I go, really? Wow, how did that happen? He goes, well, I had to pay $75, whatever it was back in the day. I went, you're going to pay to be in a tent with 100 people outside the racetrack to just get a glimpse of Dale Jr.? No, you don't understand. I'm like a big fan. Oh, my God. Dude, do you realize, you're going to barely shake his hand, if that, maybe, for a second. There'll be no conversation, and then you're out of that tent, or he's out of that tent. He's got things to. You're just a part of the money-making stream of revenue scheme that they got going on. So anyway, friends, family, listeners, I understand the relationship. And anyways, let's move on. So yeah, tweet me. So a lot of you are not on Spreaker. So how do you contact me? Of course, email, Twitter, and then I got phone numbers. I got phone numbers right here. You can call the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline, which I like to call the dumb line. The Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline, 347-7IM-Dumb. 3477-I-M-Dumb. The letter I, the letter M, D-U-M-B. And if you need numbers, a lot of people like numbers, and I get it. 347-746-3862. 347-746-3862. Try to keep your message, somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds. I don't care if it's shorter, but just under 60 seconds, I guess. And keep it clean. If you don't keep it clean, I won't be playing it. I'm just not going to get an explicit big E on my show. I'm just not interested in that. It's not the show I've done. It's not the show I do. It's not the show I want to do. Not this show. I was going to do another show that recently, by the way, which I haven't talked about. I was going to do a show with another podcaster. We had agreed to do 4 shows, and then a couple of days before the big debut, this other person pulled out. Said, no, I'm not interested anymore. I'm like, okay. So I had agreed to do 4 shows, and then next thing you know, there were no shows. And see, that's the business. You meet people, you become friends or whatever, you try to have a relationship. And all right, so I wasn't going to talk about this, but now that I brought it up, I'm going to talk about it. This is free form. This is me driving up the thruway. I'm on the New York State Thruway on my way to work, Dumbing It Down with Dave. I press the people go, what do you talk about? Well, I press the button, I talk, and then a half hour later I press the button, I publish it. But what do you talk about? I go, I don't know what's ever going on in my life. And 5 minutes ago, I never thought I'd bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. Obviously, it's been weighing on me, and because I brought it up, it's still in my head. Has it been weighing on me? Not really. Kind of, maybe. Only because I have been guarded recently, as you know. For those of you who've been listening to the last 200 and some odd episodes, I've been pretty guarded about my relationships. I know that 99% of my male, M-A-L-E, male relationships are going to end up in a disaster, or it's going to just end up poorly. And I never know why. Really, Dave? You're pretty much the common denominator. You don't know why your relationships end poorly? I go, listen, really, I don't. I'm very easy to get along with. So I meet a podcaster, we hit it off, and we talk, and blah, 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 and we talk. And, okay, let's do a show together. Great, sounds good. we figure out, it took a while. It took a couple of weeks. We figured out the logistics a little bit. We did a promo. We were about to publish it and all this other stuff. We've had some conversations on the phone. Seems like we had a good rapport. None of us had anything to lose. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about what we do. Nobody cares. I know that. Nobody's waiting for this big podcast of two guys talking. Wow, that's unique. Anyway, we worked it out, and he said to me, "Hey, I'd like you to agree to do 4 shows," which was a surprise to me that he even asked me. But I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, 4 shows, whatever." He said 8 shows. I'll do 8 shows, whatever. Yeah. I mean, if it really sucks, it really, really sucks. I wasn't going to do more than 1 show. Why would I? Man, that was horrible. You're hard. Like, I don't know. I never worked with this guy before, but we talk on the phone, right? It's all pragmatism. But I knew it wasn't going to suck. I've done a lot of interviews where I've been interviewed, right? Which is almost like co-hosting. When I get people ask me, I've been interviewed from a guy in Scotland. I've been interviewed. Hal in Philly, by the way, just did a podcast with me. I'm on the Tales of the Road Warriors. I should mention that. Look up Tales of the Road Warriors podcast. He also YouTubed it. It's on YouTube. So we did a Zoom thing, and he recorded the audio. Alex Exum interviewed me years ago. I have a whole bunch of interviews that I should have on my website. Interviews I've done. I'm a good interview. I'm easy. I talk. I have the gift of gab. I have answers for everything. I've led an interesting life. So I knew it wasn't going to suck, so it was an easy agreement. Yeah, I'll do 4 episodes. Sure, why not? I'll do 8 episodes. I don't care. It's not going to suck. But we did a promo. 2 days later, he backed out. He said, nah, I'm not feeling it. And he had his legitimate reasons, and I made it very easy for him. I said, okay, that's it. Not going to cry. Not going to, I'm a little disappointed because we spent time that I don't have. That was my problem. That I opened myself up to the possibility that this wasn't going to go right. I was like all positive about it. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Yeah, you can curse because it was going to be his, not mine. It was going to be a co-host, but it was going to be his, not mine. It wasn't going to be Dumbing It Down with Dave. It wasn't going to be on my website. It wasn't going to be part of my brand. I was going to be a co-host on his show. And he likes to curse. I'm good. Yeah, you curse. I'm never going to curse. I mean, I'm not going to say never. I do envision a show in which my language is looser. I do envision that. But not with Dumbing It Down with Dave. Dumbing It Down with Dave is very specific. It's me in my car, in my commute, to and from work, free thinking, but no explicit. Just try to keep it clean. Trying to get as much play out of this as possible. Trying to get as much distribution out of it as possible. But on this other show, yeah, whatever. It's your show. You want to curse? Curse. I don't have a need. You don't hear me like even trying to drop the F-bomb. I'll say effing or whatever, or I'll say shite. So, I'll say certain things, but I don't use the words to give me an explicit label. Okay, so anyway, so it was all set, and then it was undone within a matter of days, and I was just upset about the fact. I was disappointed that I had spent time, because I have things to do. I'm very busy. and I spent all this time like talking and setting aside time, and then whatever. And it kind of worked out, because I had this epiphany that I had to clean the garage. Like, I really had to get to my garage and attic, which, by the way, you can still watch on Dave's Fit Life. So Dave's Fit Life has taken a little bit of a turn, where he went from being fit, living in my fit, being fit, and fitting things into my life. Well, as you know, the Honda Fit no longer exists. And getting fit, well, I've taken some walks, but I wouldn't say I'm actually getting any fitter today than I was yesterday or the week before. The exercise part of my life has really come to a grinding halt. And I've definitely been eating from stress and anxiety. I've definitely been overeating and gaining weight. And as far as fitting things into my life, I'm fitting in cleaning my garage and attic. It has to get done. My garage and attic are an albatross around my neck, which apparently is a bird. Thanks to Linda letting me know. I still haven't looked it up. Apparently it's a bird. It's not a fish. All right, so I made that clear. 3477-I-M-Dumb. You can call and leave a voicemail. It's a free call as any other call. And then if I like the call, I'll download it. If you want to make a reference to the show number or the show title and whatever, just, you can leave more than one message too if you want. If you want to go over 60 seconds, leave more than one message. I say 60 seconds because I'm afraid that if it's any longer, it's going to be difficult to play and download. It could probably be longer than a minute. Then again, I just like you to get to the point. That's only a half-hour show I have. If you leave a 5-minute voicemail, very likely I'm not going to play it. Unless it's so poignant. What does poignant mean? I have no idea. But anyway, so there you go. How are we doing on time? Wow, 20 minutes. Holy cow. I didn't get to anything I wanted to get to. Well, that's the beauty of dumbing it down with Dave. I have an idea what I might want to do, and then 20 minutes later, I've talked about something totally different. By the way, so this person and I don't do a podcast anymore. We're still friends. We just don't talk because we really have, I don't want to say we have nothing to talk about, but I'm very pragmatic. I got things to do. I have things to do, and I'm exhausted all the time. And if I can't give you 100% of my energy, that's not even true. I can't receive, there's certain information I can't receive right now. That's why the friends that I've had for 10 years and 20 years, I don't talk to anymore. I labeled at least 2 of them depleters because they were just sucking the life out of me. My father's a depleter. That's right. My father's been a depleter in my life. He takes and takes and takes from me, and he never gives back. I mean, so never, that's harsh. Not the way I want him to give back. And the rest of my family. People are takers. The silence is because I'm trying to think of, am I right? Listen, not too many people talk like me, if no one talks like me. Dave, I've never heard anybody describe a friend as a depleter or an acquaintance as a depleter. What is that? Why do you use that phrase? It sounds horrible. Well, because I get very involved. I get very emotionally attached. At least I used to. And I'll give you everything I got. But Dave, nobody wants everything. Can you give 50%? I go, I don't even know what that is. How do you quantify what you give? Oh, just give. Well, yeah, 10%. All right. Well, I have an acquaintance like these idiots at my job. Dave, why do you call them idiots? That's not nice either. Well, whatever. It's a term of endearment. Like dum-dum. You're all like dum-dums. You're all dummies. Everyone. None of us are geniuses here. And if you are a genius, then I'm lucky to have you as a listener. I'm really fortunate that you take the time, a half hour out of your day to listen to the show. Not even a half hour a day, a half hour today, And you can listen to the show in 10-minute increments for all I care. But what was I talking about? Yeah, nobody uses the word depleter like I do. I'm sure if there was a tally of people all across the globe, who's using the show? Who's used the word depleter the most? Dave Canyon. I always say to podcasters, you want a tip? If you do something on your show that you think is unique to you, specifically to you, definitely talk about it. Say, oh, you'll never hear this on any other show. And I'm telling you right now, there's no show in the world right now. There's no podcast in the 1.5 million podcasts that are going live in the world today. Nobody's using the word depleter like I do, and as often as I do. Okay, anyway, and it's not like I dislike my depleters. It's just that I don't have energy. But Dave, you're doing a podcast. You sound like you're pretty energetic. No, this is all a desperate attempt. It's all a cry for help. This is what kind of energy is this? When you're falling off a cliff to your death, when people, you ever see these people and they start moving their legs and their arms, they think they're going to fly. It's a horrible, horrible, dark thought. I realize that. I am envisioning people I've seen jump off of cliffs and buildings and things like that. And they move in their arms, You see them in movies, right? They're like, do they think they're going to be like, they're all going to be like Wile E. Coyote. They're all going down like Wile E. Coyote. But anyway, that's the energy. I'm flailing my arms and my legs, thinking that somehow I'm going to take flight. But I know I'm sinking. I know that my energy is getting lower and lower. My tolerance for people is getting lower and lower. And what I have left is this podcast. And even that is dwindling. That's why I said a couple of episodes ago, I don't know how much longer I could do this. I don't know if it has a purpose in my life like it did 4 years ago. Chances are, if I stopped it, then about a month I'd be out of my mind. I want to restart it. So I'm taking a very long time to thinking about not stopping it. I'm taking a long time about thinking, how do I prolong this, and maybe I'll get out of this if I'm in I'm not in a rut. It's not a COVID rut. It's not a racist rut. It's not it's not a rut per se. I don't know what it is. How do I know what it is? I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like doing this as much as I did 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, 2 years ago. It's become work more than it's become fun. And what's fun is when I got people interacting with me. That fills a need. And a few of you are still interacting. I like it. Some of you have dropped off the page. And I am very focused in on my garage and my attic. It's hard for me to do more than one thing at a time. It's a very complex life I lead. I've made garage cleaning and attic cleaning a very complicated thing. Yes, because that takes energy. And I've done a lot of great work in my garage. My wife and I have been building shelves like crazy. Well, how many do we have now? We have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 shelves that we built. Not one shelf, like 4 shelf systems that we bought at Home Depot. It's a great sense of satisfaction when you take these metal things and you put it together, and you got a 4 or 5 shelf, system. I should take a picture of it and post it on Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. Yeah. So anyway, you have any comments? Let's try to interact in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. What is it called? It's actually called the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. Doesn't get much more pragmatic than that. Don't go to the Dumbing It Down with Dave podcast because that's a like page. What is that? I don't know. They told me I needed to have one. I have one. But the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group, you can post. And by the way, people are posting things that have nothing to do with Dumbing It Down with Dave. That's going to get deleted. I don't know why I have people that think they could just come on my page and post their propaganda on my page. Go to get your own page. Don't even ask me permission. Hey, Dave, do you mind? Yeah, I do mind. This is the Dumbing It Down Facebook group. I have been posting podcasts that are friends of mine. Even if I'm not on the show, I've been posting different things for my friends. That's my group. That's my page. I decide when I'm going to post on it. But I've had a few people that think it's okay to just post what they want. So I got to change the permissions on that. I think I did it with one guy or 2 people. But I think there's a way of doing it for everybody. Where I just man, you can't just be posting in my group. Why would you do that? Go get your own group. Or at least, contact me and say, Dave, do you mind? I go, well, yeah, actually I do. And it's funny, I get people who will DM me their propaganda. Like they'll instant message me or whatever DM means, direct message. And I'm like, wow, you don't even say hello to me. You just here's my propaganda. Here's my agenda. Like, all right. Maybe a little hello, a little pat on the shoulder, a little pat on the head. Say, hey, man, how you doing? You okay? I haven't spoken to you in a while. Hey, by the way, this is my agenda. Oh, okay. Well, I care or I don't care. But it's funny how people just love to take advantage of getting into my mailbox. I'm sure you experience the same thing. People who are inconsiderate and don't talk to you like a human being. They just treat you like a receptacle of hey, by the way, I see your mailbox in your house. I didn't put a stamp on it. I just walked up. I went through your gate, walked up your steps onto your porch or wherever, and I put stuff in your mailbox. But I didn't knock on the door and say hello. I haven't seen you in months or weeks or years. But here's my propaganda. Wow, it's kind of rude. All right, so, boy, we covered a lot today. A little emotional, right? A little dark, a little emotional. Talked about depleters. Talked about a failed podcast. It's not even a failed podcast. We never even got started. It would have been fun. I would have done 4. 4 would have been good. It would have done 4. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, he's a guy. I'm a guy. He's got issues. I got issues. Blah, blah, blah. We're friends. I say something funny. He laughs. Ha, ha. He says something funny. I kind of laugh. Ha, ha. And then, because I heard a buddy podcast yesterday from Australia. I'm not even going to mention the name. It sounded good. The cover art was good. I listened to it. 2 guys really laughing a lot for like a half hour, just laughing at each other. Laughing. Aha, you're the funniest. No, you're the funniest. No, you're the funniest. Like, oh, God, you guys are disgusting. I actually listened to a show and a half of these 2 idiots yakking it up. And I said, well, good luck, guys. I had to unsubscribe. I had such high hopes for them. I unsubscribed. That was the fastest unsubscription of a podcast I've ever had. And I'll never listen to them again. It's just 2 guys really enjoying each other's company. Way too much. All right, so we covered a lot today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm doing the best I can to do these shows. I really just wanted to do like a bonus show and read commentary and stuff like that, but I got sidetracked. So you know how to contact me. Contact me anyway. You can. 3477-7IM-Dumb. The dumb line. Email me. Tweet me. Facebook group me. That's the best way, I think. Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. I hope you enjoy the show. I can't for the life of me remember one thing we talked about. I do, but I don't. And as soon as I publish this, it'll be out of my memory, and I'll move on to the next show. I really got to get to your comments, to your listener comments. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I hope everything's going well in your world with the corona. And if you have any questions, please. I know a lot of times I go down a rabbit trail and I don't finish it. So please reach out to me and say, hey, Dave, what about this? You didn't finish that story. Well, we try to dumb it down. All right. Outro music. Thank you, Hal. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave.
Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills. Take care.